What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If we're just meeting, happy to have you here. My name is Garrett. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller showing you how you all can make a living off Amazon as well. In today's video, we're talking sourcing, right? And sourcing is always going to be the big thing that prohibits us from making as much money as we want, right? I always say there's going to be two big bottlenecks that you'll ever face in Amazon. It's either going to be a product issue or a capital issue. And typically how it works is you shift back and forth between the two. As you get started, you have most likely a product issue, right? That's why some people enlist on some leads lists, join Discord groups, that sort of thing, right? Because you need to know sort of where to look for products and how to find products and really how to acknowledge good products when they come across, right? But as you gain experience, as you gain exposure, the product issue eventually gets solved in some capacity, right? And then, because good products typically hang out close to one another, then that initial bottleneck becomes a capital issue, right? We have all the products, now we have too many products that we want to be buying, and now our issue sort of shifts over to a capital issue, right? Once we have that capital issue, it's a good problem to have. Then we look for more credit cards, loans, all those sorts of things. We inevitably get the capital we need, and now again our bottleneck shifts back to a product issue. Get back to sourcing, and so we're gonna kind of shift back and forth between the two, right? But today's video is really going to be focused on the mindset of finding that next product, where to look. And I already mentioned in this video that good products are really going to kind of hang out close to each other, right? Surprisingly enough, if you have one good product, it's almost always the case that that product is pointing in the direction for your next specific product. Now, what do I mean by that, right? Look into your catalog, and I want you guys to do this as you're watching this video. Look at your catalog, right? How many products do you have currently that are profitable in your specific catalog? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 15? Whatever that number is, that's your starting point, right? Because each and every one of those products likely has other sellers on that listing, right? Whether it's 10 sellers, 15 sellers, 20 sellers, whatever it is, those are good and likely almost always the case, the best places to look, right? Because we're operating on the thesis, on the hypothesis that one profitable product, right? If another seller has found that product, it's likely the case they're looking in similar places as we are, right? And because they're looking in similar places as we are, the chances that them and their team have previously found at least one other product that you have not is extraordinarily high, almost 100%. And so just operating based off of that statement alone, that opens us up to hundreds of different leads that we can now acknowledge and look at, right? Because each and every product has 10, 15, 20, 25 different sellers on it. And each of those 10, 20, 25 different sellers likely have 10, 15, 20 products. And so you can quickly see how we start to spider web out, right? Because each and every one of our products opens us up to potentially 4, 5, 6, 700 products that have been found by someone who's credible, right? Being that they found one specific good product. And likely is the case that those other products are probably sourced by a similar product or a similar source. And so that is the main thesis that will take you essentially to however big you want to get, right? Because I always consider sourcing in terms of looking in warm areas as opposed to cold, right? When I refer to looking in cold areas, right? If we're considering a source cold, that's if I was going to source on Kohl's or Walmart or Dick's and just consume that data for what it is, right? If I'm on Walmart.com right now and I'm looking at all their product information, there's going to be 3 categories of products, 3 quality categories of products of stuff on Amazon, right? Every product I look at is either on Walmart is either going to be a product that's on Amazon that sells well, a product that's on Amazon that doesn't sell well, or a product that's not on Amazon. And if I'm just looking at that Walmart data, right, I see everything Walmart provides, but it's hard to make that connection back to Amazon, right? So it takes time. Every single product, I'm not sure how it relates to Amazon. And so I have to reverse engineer and make that connection every single time. That's a very time-consuming process, right? And so doing that alone, looking at a cold source that hasn't been filtered through, that has no sort of proximity to where I'm already looking, that's a very draining and very boring and very long process. How I'm proposing is using our catalog to fuel our sourcing, right? Because that's always going to be looking in places that have experienced some sort of success before. The other benefit of leveraging storefronts and the products within those storefronts that we share a profitable product with is, and I've said this before, we can front load a lot of the qualification, right? The drawback to the Walmart method that I used as an example a couple minutes ago is all the qualification typically happens at the back end. Every single product I'm looking at Walmart, if I'm just leveraging what Walmart has to offer, I don't know how it relates to Amazon. So again, I have to tie it back to Amazon each and every time because we have no insight in terms of velocity, buy box, competition, all those sorts of things. Walmart doesn't provide that. However, if I start with Amazon, right, if I start with products in storefronts related to a product that I'm already selling, I can see firsthand the velocity, the competition, what the buy box is, the stability, the predictability, all those things that we're interested in. I can front load all of that, right? And so in doing so, the last step of the equation is I can qualify a product based on all of the factors that I'm interested in. And then if it meets everything, then that last step is just simply finding where I can purchase something and at what cost I can purchase something, right? And then if the margin works at that point, then it's game on. But you see how the difference is, right? By qualifying the velocity, the competition, the offer count, the trending of those products in the beginning, and then ending with the price point, it's a very shortcutted route to eventually getting to the same destination. So we kind of maximize the efficiency in which we say no to products. And then in doing so, it makes our sourcing time that much more valuable on the back end, right? Because keeping the understanding that, especially in the beginning, we're going to have to look through hundreds and hundreds of products to find the next one, the next winning product. We want to make those qualifications. We want to make those no's as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. And so the quicker we can say no, the faster we get to that next yes. Eventually, and simultaneously, making your sourcing time more efficient, making you more profitable, and making you just enjoy the process that much more, right? And so when comparing the two methods, I'm just looking at Walmart.com and consuming that product data and then trying to map that back to Amazon, it's a long way around to really get to the same answers, right? And so I'm always going to use the product information of which I already have and the competitive sellers on the products that I already sell on to lead me to that next product. And if you're listening to this video and you have any sort of products in your catalog at this point, the next product in your catalog will come from anything that you already are selling, because that's going to be a warmer lead, a more efficient way to look through it, and then use that to continue to drive your business forward and onward. That's going to allow you to scale with your sourcing that much more and make you much more profitable in the meantime. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and with that, we'll see you in the next one.